it's like really difficult to work with me. You know what I mean?
I tell him all the time, I'm like, you are the worst boss. Like I would talk so much crap about you behind your back, and I would complain about you
Let's
relentlessly.
hear some. Let's
Yeah,
hear
and I was like,
some.
and I would fire you if I hired you.
Welcome to the Knife Wife podcast. I'm Suze, married to Bob Tersowola. This podcast is about couples who live, love, and work together. It has little to do with knives. Hey everybody, it's Suze and Bob.
Hello. Hi, guys.
Tersowola.
Welcome back.
Yep, welcome back. Thanks for joining us again. We're here today. We have a guest. And as usual, our podcast is about everything and nothing. We answer questions that nobody asks. And we still don't have a TikTok dance, so we'll have to do this podcast. I don't use Wikipedia anymore because I married Wikipedia, which is Bob.
Oh.
And just the facts for him. And we hope to give everybody a break from all the toxic stuff you see on social media. And I'm on social media a lot for our work and my work. And I'm amazed at the stuff that people post. And if you're listening and you're my friend on Facebook and you post something political, I don't care whether I agree with you or not. I unfollow you. I don't unfriend you because I just can't handle it anymore. I just can't take it anymore. So don't take it personally. It's just the state of the world. So, and I do live with a man who's a news junkie. Are you a news junkie, Bob?
Absolutely. Well, I lived out of the news so long, I'd been living in Central America, that now I'm trying to catch up.
Yeah, I know, but how many years ago was Central America, honey?
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, as a therapist, I say to you, okay, that's over. Next. Anyway, so.
Shall I lie down on the couch over here?
No, please. We had a session yesterday, right?
Yes,
we had a
we
little
did.
sit down yesterday. We do that every now and then
Mm-hmm.
because I feel these knife guys all need to be married to some sort of social worker because they're kind of complex guys, or anybody who's an entrepreneur. It's good to have a therapist around.
So we do have a question from somebody.
You do. We do have questions, and I thank everybody. If you want to send a question in, you can do it on our Instagram page at TheKnifeWife podcast, or we have a Facebook fan page with very few fans, but and our YouTube is getting set up for The Knife Wife so that people can listen to it. And pretty soon we're going to go video. And not until I fell down, which everyone knows, and I have this black eye still. So not until the black eye's gone because I'm just way too vain.
Maybe you'll have to wear a pirate's eye patch. What do you think?
That would be attractive. Ooh, that kind of fun. That sounds fun.
So here's the question.
What's the question?
This is the question.
Stick to the subject, huh, Susie?
The question comes from, it looks like Fulminator 6.
Furminator 6.
Furminator.
I love people's names on the internet.
Furminator 6. Okay. Furminator 6 wants to know, who does the deals? I assume he means the deal, the knife deals, the business deals that Susie and I are involved in. Susie, who makes the deals?
Me.
Mm-hmm.
Bob would basically give away the store because he's a nice guy. He's a nicer person than I am all around. And it's hard for him to put value on what he does or his market. And
yeah. Susie plays the bad cop. I play the no cop.
No, he plays the good cop. We do that very often. And then we have a tiebreaker. We have a guy that every now and then I'm dealing in a knife business, or that is, a sausage fest. And sometimes I need a sausage. So I call on Adam. And he a shout out to Adam, and he does the paperwork, and he's the bad cop.
Yeah, but basically Susie does the deals.
I do the deal. I think them all up. Bob, do you get nervous when I'm quiet? Because I know
you're thinking about something.
Yeah, silence is probably not good with me. But I'm, a professional creative. I've been creating things and doing things my whole life, and that are all self-driven. I never did. Did you do well? Well, you worked for other people, didn't you?
I did, briefly. Not too well.
You worked for the government.
Yeah, but very, very indirectly. Very indirectly.
That's one way of saying it. And I worked in the movies, and I had 100 people telling me every day what to do. at least 100. So I'm happiest when it's only you. Anyway, today we have guests with us. We have Esther and Billy Cho. Say hello.
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 And we met them. We met Billy through the Knife World, and Billy and Esther now put on a show in Oregon. First, it was in Portland, which was in a really cool spot, and then they moved it to Seaside, which for me, if I can have that vitamin C, I'm there. And it's been a really successful show, and it's a show that people love to go to. We went, even though we didn't sell many knives, we went the second year anyway. We made marshmallow roasting sticks, right?
Yeah, that was a big hit. There was a pretty big, disappointed crowd of kids without any marshmallow sticks this year.
Yeah, I thought maybe the Rogers or somebody else would pick up the ball, but I did see somebody was roasting marshmallows in pictures this year. And we may come back another year, but this year we're going to Italy for a couple weeks, so that's our big trip this year. Anyway, so you guys don't normally work together during the day, but you come together with both of your, I think, skills and creativity for this show. And when I send out questions to guests, sometimes I get 2-word answers, but Esther, you gave me such a great answer. You basically told a story. And so one of the stories you told about was not only do you support each other in your endeavors, but with the first show, I think you got a box, a Home Depot box, you said, and you said, what's in here?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. I didn't really know how much involvement I was going to have with the show. There was not a lot of details given from Billy. I literally thought I was just going to show up and just kind of walk around and not do much. And he was like, no, I need you to help with registration. And I was like, oh, okay. What does that look like? And he was like, I don't know. We'll figure it out. And then,
Yeah, sounds
and I
familiar.
think I had said, Billy and Nick Rolfe, who is the show promoter or show runner as well. They're brilliant and creative, but they're terrible at organization and like orderliness, any kind of order. And so a couple of days before, I think it was last year's show, it wasn't the Portland, maybe it was a Portland one, I don't remember. There was a box of just manila envelopes just tossed in there. And I remember asking Billy, I was like, hey, what is this box? And he was like, those are the name tags and the tickets that you have to distribute when people register. And I was looking at the box and I was like, is there any order to this? Like, is there alphabetized? And he's like, no, I don't know how to. No, it's not alphabetized. And so I'm just imagining like lines of people who were there. Some of them were there like the night before, just waiting for hours for me to dig through.
I know they line up, right? Around the venue.
They do. And even the night before. And so I was like, give me the box and give me the list. And then even with the list,
Uh-oh.
I was like, can you give me the Excel sheet? And he gives me the Excel sheet and I'm looking at it and it's not in any order whatsoever.
It's order of when they signed up, probably. Yeah.
Order when they signed up. And I'm like, why, how? And then I was like, but I was baffled. I was like, how is this going to happen? He was like, I don't know. We'll figure it out. And I was like, no.
But you did figure it out, see?
No.
What I said was correct. We ended up figuring it out. And
so I took the list and I alphabetized it. He even had the previous year's list of people's names on there. Like it was just hundreds of names jumbled up.
To be fair, it's the way the site that basically runs our show website and they do all the ticket sales through there. It won't allow us to separate the years for some reason, so we have to just manually go in there and delete it.
I understand. Our website, we're constantly working on our website for Terzola, and when we get orders, I get told who they are, where they're sent to. I get told the amount, but what they ordered is always a mystery.
Right.
And I'm supposed to get an order and another email. That's supposed to send me the order. And we just had a whole bunch of knives we sold, and there were nothing. I just had amounts. And so we were able to figure it out, but something's got to be fixed. That's got to change. So probably for you
and that's
too.
why Susie does the deals, because I can't deal with stuff like that. I don't do
See,
anything.
Bob? See?
Computers
See?
and organizing and alphabetizing. No. That's why
See?
Susie does the deals.
Okay, and here's the
See, you
thing.
got my back, Bob. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's
Bob.
really, Bob, like giving a 5-year-old the job, because my social media says I needed adult supervision. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. So I laugh when like yesterday I had to file all these things on, I don't know what, Saturday or Sunday, and I was like, where is the adult? When is she going to show up? Certainly it's not me. But anyway, so go on. So you did it, and then everybody got their badges, and everybody got in and was checked in. And so do you guys, like Bob and I, we who's in charge? Sometimes we get into a little thing on who's in charge, and we don't actually call it that, but that's how I figure it out. I'm like, oh, this is just a control thing. Okay. And so I joke that, we could draw straws, and, because really, what difference does it make? To me, as long as it gets done, I don't care who's in control. In fact, fine, you be in control. But that's always my responsibility, no matter who's in control. And that's probably for you the same thing, Billy, because everybody's looking at you and Nick, right?
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people think it's my show only, but that's not the case, right? Because I've mostly been the public face of the show and answering questions and and doing my best to promote on social media and all that. So, but it's both of our show, but I kind of get the grunt of it,
Yeah.
and even when just not having to deal with like registration and things like that is because I get flooded for the entire 6 months of what we're promoting about, hey, I forgot to enter a description when I bought my
Right.
tickets, and with hundreds and hundreds of people. So when it's like the week of the show, I'm so checked out. I'm just like, I need to get these tasks done, and I don't have time to alphabetize it. And so
you give it to Esther. That's what you
yes,
do.
yes.
Yeah.
You
And
give
so
Esther a box.
And
Yes,
I'm that face. I'm the one that gets, no one writes to Bob. No one
Right.
ever writes to him and says, hey, Bob, can I? Never. I'm like, why is
Right.
it me?
right.
And I feel like, and then if a knife doesn't work, I don't think maybe you have this in your business, I don't know, but if a knife is not working and they send it back and it's missing bearings, I'll say, did you take it apart? And they will look at me directly in the eye like a 17-year-old and lie to my face. Oh, no, I didn't take it apart. Well, the bearings can't fall out on their own. But anyway, but they never go to Bob. They always go to me.
Yeah.
It's because you're the responsible one, probably.
Well, I'm the communicator.
Absolutely, yeah. I just lock myself in my shop, and I don't want to hear anything from anybody.
Oh yeah.
Pretty
yeah.
much
And
so.
And so Nick's kind of the same way, where Nick handles a lot of the administrative stuff as well, dealing with our website and insurance and all that. And so but we're gonna have to split some more duties soon, where I can just deal with the makers, and he handles a lot of the people that are attending. So we're still trying to find balance, because we're not really necessarily, we just kind of jumped into this as like a selfish way to see our friends, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we're like, hey, we'll just
good
invite
way.
all our friends, and they can, sell knives, and we'll just have a little show. And soon enough, it became a big show. And so
It did. That's what you get for success. And yes.
Right.
And, Nick, I didn't really know Nick till I came the first time, and we went to hear him. He was with a band. I don't know if it was his band or he was just sitting in with the band. I don't know. But I heard the best R&B music. And I am hungry for that. I come from Chicago, and there's tons of it, and Detroit isn't far. And, we're really, I grew up with it, and that's what they were playing. And I didn't want the night to end.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people don't know, Nick's background is, he was Aretha Franklin's pianist before she died for a very long time. He
Yeah.
played with Sting, Bruce Springsteen, a lot of Broadway things in New York. He's originally, he's from the Pacific Northwest, but, he built his career in New York. So he has a lot of those influences, and very talented, very skilled. I mean, it's very hard to be successful as a musician.
Yeah.
And he's done it. So.
He has, and rightfully so. I mean, I heard him and I was like, wow, this guy, wow. And I didn't know all those things. I just said, they said, oh, he's playing at this venue. And so we went, the night before the show. It was fabulous. It was one of my happiest times. And Nick also has another hidden skill, which is when old women pull up their electric vehicle they rented in the parking lot and forget to turn it off. Nick puts on his cape and goes and turns it off. It was running for, I don't know, an hour before he turned it off. I'll probably never live that down. But I left the hose on the other day, and I left the pool water on the other day, and almost flooded our whole yard. I need to set a timer. I'm not joking when I say I need adult supervision. But anyway, so you guys created the show, and Esther was like, well, okay, the first year. But did you think, Esther, it would become, because now it's a thing. So probably now there's more for you to be a part of.
I mean, just to go back to our history, Esther and I really haven't worked together well. And I mean, because we've been married for, this is our
20th year.
20th year being married. We married at
together
21.
20 years too. Bless you.
And so, I mean, we've tried before. And I think because I am so erratic and anal, and if I didn't train you, then, it's probably not the right way and to do my thing. And because of my ADHD, which I think is my superpower, but she sees it as a detriment. It's been really difficult to work together because she's very structured and I'm just willy-nilly, right? So
yeah, well, that's me. I'm willy-nilly in charge of this business. I don't know how that happened, but yes, and I don't have a diagnosis, but I'm sure I would get one now of at least ADD. But Bob is, steady, and he is, he's my rock. When I am fluttering around the room with a million different thoughts going from here and there, he's just sitting there, watching me very patiently to land. And maybe it's that way with you two. I don't know.
I think when it comes to things that are not related to work, that's how we are, where we just really depend on each other, and we talk about everything, even our jobs and our work and our accomplishments and failures and all that. So, but when it comes to like us being in our own zone, I think we give each other space and support from the outside, because I think I'm just so neurotic that it's like really difficult to work with me. You know what I mean?
I tell him all the time, I'm like, you are the worst boss. Like I would talk so much crap about you behind your back, and I would complain about you relentlessly.
Let's hear some. Let's hear some.
And I would fire you if I hired you.
Yeah, well,
but,
Bob's the worst boss too. I'm going to tell you, he is the worst, because he feels sorry for everyone. And when they don't do their job, he pays them extra.
Oh, that's kind.
It's kind, but
Billy's not kind.
It's really not a great business model. So, I mean, we have the situation right now. But anyway, so Bob, I don't know if I'm a good boss. I run a team. They all show up.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah, you're a great boss. And you're a great boss because you get things done. You have a little trouble organizing, but that's not...
paperwork.
Oh, God, the paperwork.
Paperwork.
Maybe about every 6 months, she'll sit down in her office, in her studio, and start pulling papers that have piled up and piled up and piled up, and start filling up garbage bags full of, old stuff.
But recently, to my credit, since we moved into our little house, I don't have the space to do that. And if you go in there, you won't see any piles of papers every month.
Now you have to do it every month instead of every 6 months.
Yeah. And I file things, and then I'm like, well, what did I file that under? I don't know.
So Esther, you have 2 children. You went back to school. You have your own practice. You're working with Billy, setting up the shows and working on the shows. I mean, how do you balance all of this? Do you bang your head against the wall every once in a while, or recruit the children to do something? How do they help you?
It takes a village, right? And I think I have to give a shout out to my parents. My mom and my stepdad, they make a point to come out they're from Las Vegas. They come out during the show, particularly to just babysit, so that they know that Billy and I can focus on the show.
Yeah. Oh, great.
Yeah. And I really appreciate it, because we don't have family in Oregon except for one cousin, but he's not like babysitter material. Sorry if you're listening to this song. I love you.
That's okay. My cousins never babysat for my kids either. So it's just how it
Yeah.
goes. That's all right.
So we just really, I'm thankful that they come out every year to watch the children so that we can do that. In terms of just balancing, I've been really fortunate with private practice to really control my schedule and just to make sure I have a good enough balance where I can be home most of the time. And Billy, I couldn't do this without Billy. He really is the one who takes up, he just really sacrifices and he drops everything just to help me go into the office when I have emergencies. And he really watches the kids. I don't know what they eat for dinner, but they're fed.
Peanut butter and jelly, I bet you.
It's a lot of Olive Garden for some reason.
Olive Garden. Oh,
They love
you're
it.
saying that to
I
an
hate it.
Italian.
I hate it. They love it. I
Yeah.
can't get them to
But
stop eating it.
he really supports me. And I think that's the key is like if you have a really wonderful spouse and partner to support you, you can almost do anything.
Right. Because from when I first met Bob, I have a son who was, he was 14 then, and he's on the autism spectrum. He still is. But he's not 14, he's 37. And I got an offer to to teach in Florence, Italy for the summer. And I didn't have family. And I didn't have anyone that would take this kid because he was kind of a handful at that time. He had no impulse control. And so when they offered me this position, I was at my art opening, I think. I was having an art opening of my prints, and it was to teach printmaking. And so I said to the man who offered me the job, I said, I really can't go because I have no one to watch my son. I'm a single parent, and I didn't have a ex-husband that was in the picture. And so Bob said right there, I'll watch him. And I went, you will? No one's ever said that. And he did. And it ended up actually to cement the relationship. So it was a much better, I kept thinking, I'm going to turn on the news and he's going to be on the news doing something.
Santa Fe burned to the ground.
But no, it all worked out really well. So,
And a lot of it is also same thing with Esther's support, as well. She says that, she couldn't do without me. And it's likewise because, when I run 4 businesses now and, and for the longest time, we had very young kids and it was basically me chasing my dreams and Esther was just in the background watching the kids and trying to see me kind of make it and struggle and if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be able to do, what I do now. So,
yeah, well, it is a partnership, that's for sure. And if you have people who don't think it is, good luck.
So speaking of kids and business, apparently one of your children is quite the entrepreneur when it comes to gathering things at shows. What about that?
Oh, God.
He would walk around, my oldest, and he would just start saying to booth members and vendors, like, I'm Billy Cho's son. And then they would just start giving him things.
I mean, I try to tell him my name has no weight behind this thing.
He knew better.
And
did he walk around with a basket or something, or a little box or something?
He had a baseball hat, and it was filled with like stickers, a ninja star. Somebody gave him a ninja star, like an actual one.
And how old was he?
He's 10.
Oh, not a good idea. My next door neighbor, and when we lived in Albuquerque, the son he tried to make some throwing knives at Bob's shop when he was young. And the parents were doing some work in the house, and they had to get in his bedroom to get into a wall. And the back of his bedroom door, he'd been throwing knives into it for months. It was completely shredded.
Oh, no.
And they said, don't let him come and make any more knives in your shop. Anyway, so boys will be boys. So when you had a chat with them, what did you say? I mean, what do you say to that?
Oh, we just kind of, I don't know. I was like, cool, but don't, go around doing that on purpose.
You didn't ask him to share?
No. His brother had swag too. Like his little brother kind of just followed around and got all the goodies, like his Yeah, my mom was laughing. She was like, she was the one that was kind of helicoptering them as he was walking around the show looking for things.
And of course,
Nice.
I say, don't touch anything, don't
Right.
do this, or I don't want to buy a knife that you dropped off a guy's table.
Exactly.
It's like all those rules apply to me too, and whatever. I don't want to, someone's selling a $100,000 knife. I don't be responsible for that. I would have to sell you to pay for that. So
That'd be the end of your life with me, son.
There's an idea.
and we would tell him that, but I don't know.
He just knew, like you said, he's an entrepreneur. He took an advantage, and he came home with a lot of loot. So
Right. Well, and the good chances of your kids being entrepreneurs knowing their parents is probably about 100%. Because both our kids are entrepreneurs.
Oh, great. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And
That's
pretty
very true.
successful. So in things that, gosh, my son Alex had, now he's our son, Bob adopted him. He always loved vacuums when he was young. And so he has a vacuum store, and he installs whole house vacuums for these rich people's house in Vail and Aspen for, God, huge amounts of money.
Awesome.
And he loves it. And the other one is a serial entrepreneur. He's, and I'm kind of that. Poor Bob, he, okay, I think I'm going to do this, and now I'm going to do this, and now we're going to do this. And he rides the bus with me. He does.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I can't help myself.
That's great.
So it is. Although I don't think I have anything really on the horizon right now. I'm good at finishing things, and I have a few things I have yet to finish. So we'll see what happens with those. And the one thing I know is that I didn't really want to do what you do, Esther. After about 6 months of listening to people all day, I'm very patient and I'm a very good helper, but not 8 hours a day. And I learned that.
Yeah, I'm always like, just tell them to stop it.
Exactly. And I'd say to them, okay, well, I'm the speed therapist, and here's what you need to do. Here are 6 points, and you have 6 sessions in which to implement these. Wow. And they were like, no, I don't want to change. I'm like, okay, we'll go find another therapist. And so,
that's funny.
Yeah.
My philosophy is just tell them to get over it.
Bob. Yeah, Bob's like, Billy, that's enough. Okay, we've heard enough.
Look it off.
Yeah.
Right. So, but that's why there are people like you, and because somebody does need somebody to talk to a lot of times. So, especially in our world today, where there's this social media face, and then there's real life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a big gap, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, one of the things I ask is, what advice would you give other couples or folks who are working together? And Esther said, be patient, have grace for each other, and remember the common goal, which was, Bob said, the most succinct, perfect sentence he ever heard, right?
As an answer to that question, yes. I love the use of the word grace. Esther, that was really perfect.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, and what would you say, Billy?
I would say it's okay to not necessarily work together in a specific, cohesive thing that a lot of people think that you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think, even though Esther and I do, very separate things, and we're both have our own separate businesses, I think that we're not really hands-on and with each other's businesses at all, not even the finances or anything like that. Yeah, there's zero overlap, but I think just because we support each other and we know each other, we talk, and that the support's there, not having to be fully involved with each other's things. And I know that usually is like the weird thing to say, because you always think that, I know some knife making couples where, they just got a CNC and the wife does all the CNC work, and then the husband makes the knives.
I stayed out of that lane completely.
And that's like really like a cohesive kind of like running the business, partnership, running the business together thing. And I think it's okay if it's not that, And so,
yeah,
but
Bob and I have our own things. I mean, the shop is his domain. If I want to make something or whatever, I have to run that by him first, even though I probably could, but I don't. And he completely stays out of my stuff. Every now and then he he ventures in, but not really very often because he didn't want to hear about this stuff.
Well, I think we both enjoy going into each other's either shop or studio and just seeing, what are you doing? Take a look at the drawings or the prints, or you're printing stuff on the printing press. And Susie comes in every once in a while, maybe once or twice a day. She says, what are you doing? What are you working on?
Right.
Yeah, can I get some social media content?
Yeah, taking pictures.
Yeah, I think for me also, I needed for me mentally, I needed a disconnect from whatever I'm doing with work, whether it's firearms or knives or the show or whatever. When people ask me what kind of YouTube videos you watch, I never watch anything about knives. I never watch anything about firearms, just because I needed that disconnect, because I'm so surrounded by it, right? 24/7. I'm thinking about it, running the business. And so I think having Esther not be a part of it she's kind of been my refuge.
Yeah, your
to go
respite.
to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bob, what videos do you watch on YouTube?
I love to watch animal videos. I love to watch dogs and pandas, especially. And now I'm getting to
Australian breakdancing girl that's failing at something and everyone's making fun of them. It's just the sky's the limit of. I just watch the most randomest things. I watch things on comic books or other artists make things, but it has to be completely unrelated to knives and guns.
Yeah, Bob has no idea. I'll say, "Oh, did you see what so and so posted?" He goes, "No." I'm like, well, you were on your phone for an hour. No, he didn't see that. He just went down the rabbit hole of videos.
Dog videos. Yeah.
I just love animal videos, all the different kinds.
You get that? Okay. All right.
Oh yeah.
Well, you guys, I think we're almost at the end of our time here together. I've really enjoyed it, and I hope we get out there to see you guys again.
Oh, you guys are always welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
We love you guys and all you guys, what you guys have done for the community. And so, part of doing the show was kind of showing honor to the people who've, come before me. This is my 10th year making knives, and it just goes by in a heartbeat. And
boy, does it.
I wouldn't be the maker I am if it wasn't for people like Bob and Michael Walker and all those guys that paved the way for us. So this part of the show is showing my appreciation to you guys who have reached legendary status, and I know Bob wouldn't be the maker he is without you, Suze. So
well,
really
thanks. Thanks. But as I tell people, I don't make the knives. I just show you what he's doing. But anyway, thank you. Yeah, we as far as the business goes, it is a pair. And I have to say your respective elders is something that is not common anymore. And it did not go unnoticed when we were there. And everyone was so helpful and so solicitous that was there. It was great, including Nick turning off my car.
Yes.
That's one of the reasons why we moved there from Portland to Seaside, because I was like, because that venue in Portland was super cool, that super industrial shipbuilding place, but had no amenities. And I was like, I can't have Bob T go inside of a porta potty, man.
You said that. I heard you say that.
Man.
Billy, you should know some of the places I've used.
Oh, I know, Bob.
In Central America and Panama and so forth. Yeah, you should you should only know.
I know, but I was like, you paid your dues. You probably went to the bathroom in enough holes for a lifetime, and I didn't want to do that to you. So
we had to dig holes?
So that was one of the reasons why we moved it to have more amenities for, just to make it a little bit more accommodating for people and things like that. So
Thank you, Billy. Great. I appreciate that.
Appreciate it. All right. Well, we wish you guys both much success in everything you're doing, and so far so good. I think your hearts go before anything else, and it sort of shows in everything. I mean, I'm not Esther's patient, but maybe I will be. I don't know. But the point is, we really see what you're doing, that you're leading more from the heart and the soul than from the business side, and that makes the show great. So,
thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Nice. Thanks for listening. If you like what you're hearing, please share this with a friend and subscribe where you listen to podcasts. Please support our efforts through Patreon at TheKnifeWife, and for all Terzawola goodness, go to terzawola.net. And remember, if you're not laughing, you're not living. Comments and questions can be made on Instagram at the Knife Wife Podcast or our Facebook group, The Knife Wife Podcast. And if you're a couple who work together and would like to be on our podcast, tell us about yourself with an email at eccentricsues.com or terzawola.net.